And whenever you're ready, Coach, bring a statement. We'll take questions.
Once again, just to echo what John said, thank you, everyone, for coming out. Appreciate, in our short time here, the coverage that our program has received, and we continue to strive to reach excellence and give everybody in Western New York and this university the program that they richly deserve. So I think we're about 11 practices in now, and 12th one will be this afternoon, and I guess I'll just open it up. Sorry there, Mark.
All right, Lance, what do you, after 11 practices, what do you feel best about this team right now?
The efficiency in which we're operating right now, I think, has been and we've talked about as a staff, the plays, the expectations, listen to our older players, really mentor and lead our younger players. 42 new players in this camp compared to a year ago is a lot of players that have to learn what our expectations are just in the daily routine, and to hear players, this is the way we do it, and help and lead and push others has been exciting. And the way we're getting things done now, does it need to be executed a little sharply, a little bit better and things like that? Yes, but the overall way that we're getting things done has been impressive.
Any off the top of your head? I know everybody was back last year. A year ago, how many new players did you have out of 105?
I don't know.
Okay.
I should.
42 is a lot.
Yeah, it is.
What are your expectations for this upcoming season?
Well, I think some of those, John, are happening right now. Is that we understand our expectations within the program on a daily basis, and the standard that we want to kind of go about that with effort and attitude and a passion to play the game correctly. And with that, we hope through experience that those that work and sweat equity that we've put into this is going to start showing up in the win column.
How are things different for you and the team now that it's your second year under?
Well, it's been a mixed year because, as you just said, with all those new players, and of those 42, about a dozen just arrived this month. So there's a lot of catching up, and there's some, really some orientation yet that has to take place with a portion of that group. But again, being more comfortable, knowing our players more. I think the level of trust between coach and player to coach has definitely increased. There's a better understanding. Even at the positions where we lost experience and, players who are going to go down in this program's history, our ability to execute and get plays run has been outstanding. And I think that's the part that always helps you in year two kind of get things rolling.
Coach, what do you see most? Just kind of take us through your wide receiver core. I know Ronnie was a big target last year, and now who steps in for him maybe?
Well, Marcus McGill is the leading returning in receptions, and Marcus is a senior. He's played a lot of football. We use Marcus in a lot of different ways. It's been a pleasure to watch him grow and really mature into the position and take on a leadership role. I think the next guy that comes to mind right now is Malcolm Robinson. Malcolm's a guy that showed flashes last year. Keeping him healthy is going to be very important. But again, a senior who has kind of paid his dues, and it's time for him to blossom. And he's had a nice camp so far. And there's many others in that group. Some newcomers. KJ Osborne's a young man that's had a good spring and a good fall camp right now. Kamadi Hosley's a young junior college player, came in this summer. So we're kind of like Jacob Martinez is a young man who's injured right now, but has been in the mix. And then besides Malcolm, I think the other player that's really at that position is really kind of come into his own of late is Jamal Island, and he's going to be used in the return game and other things. And I think as we approach September 2nd, we're going to be very confident and feel good about our depth there.
When you look at your schedule, ACC on the road at Boston College, maybe non-conference, what stands out about your opponents?
Well, it's again, with Athletic Director Alan Green and when Danny White was here, the philosophy of our scheduling was spelled out to me clearly. It was one that I really embraced about how we want to go about our non-conference scheduling, and I think it matches up very well to that model. And playing an in-state FCS school in Albany again, opening up on a Friday night will be exciting. Last year we played Nevada, and now we go out there. They're a bowl team. Army and the triple option will always, keeps defensive coordinators up many, many nights, sometimes as early as the spring through the summer and up until game time. And then having a chance, like you say, to play a Power 5 opponent, and that being the first week of October. It's going to be a very challenging schedule. I think when you look at the whole schedule is that I think every away game other than Boston College, which, as we know, is the Power 5 opponent, all other 5 opponents on the road are bowl teams. So that's a very challenging road schedule. And it's going to be important for us to learn and to execute well on the road, and of course play well at home as well as expected. And again, our conference and where we're at right now as a program, it's a week by week mentality, and that's the way it should be. It's always the way we've gone about it. So it's going to be very challenging and exciting.
Coach, the schedule. You mentioned the Power 5. What's your opinion on playing them regularly? Is there a balance of exposure versus balancing the schedule to maybe account for wins, losses, that sort of thing that's maybe in your mind?
I think there's a lot of things that go into scheduling, and of course scheduling up to what is Power 5, and again the things that happen that's continues to happen in college football, which makes college football so exciting. We're very fortunate and proud that we're one of 128 programs that get to play at this level. And really, the college football has never been more prominent and more exciting across the nation. So to have a chance to step in those venues is very important. There's a financial component to it at times. We cannot, we cannot let that not, be part of the topic. But again, the philosophy that we have, I think, is solid. And a chance, like last year, to walk into Penn State, into that environment, I think is exciting for any athlete. And to go to Boston College and have that opportunity will be equally exciting. I think there's things that you want to look at as far as maybe the venue. For experience, you want to look at maybe your recruiting territories in the footprint of what you're doing, and a lot of things. But again, you still got to be able to go and compete in games, and then also be ready to play your conference season. And again, I think I go back to that model which we have. I think it balances out very well.
Lance, what steps has Boise Ross taken, maybe with his game and also from a leadership standpoint? And then who else might you lean on from a leadership standpoint on that defense?
Well, you can't say enough about Boise if you have a chance to meet him. We kind of talk, I've never seen a guy that has more energy each and every day and is passionate about what he's going, doing on the football field. But the thing about impressing most about Boise of late is really the steps that Boise has taken as a young man and his maturity. Whether it be academically, socially, the steps he's made and a lot of things, I could not be more proud. For those that may not know, Solomon Jackson was Boise's roommate, and there's a lot of things that Boise's gone through, like I said, on and off the field. But each day he steps on the field with a purpose and energy. He's leading, he's encouraging, and he's somebody that we're going to be counting on again to kind of build on that season he had last year. The nice thing again with our defense is the experience that we've had in many of the returning positions. I think we're getting solid leadership from a lot of guys. Linebacker position, Jared Franklin, Brandon Berry. Khalil Hodges stepped in and played with a lot of confidence for being a new arrival on campus in January. And I think, again, our defensive line, Brandon Crawford, Max Parisi, Chris Ford has become more a vocal leader. And then one that you've had a chance to visit with sometime is Damone Harris. So there's a lot of guys that have taken that step. And again, I think they're feeling more comfortable in their roles within the team, which then allows them to lead in a better fashion.
How important is Jordan Johnson to the overall success of your offense?
Extremely important. Anytime, for us to create the balance in our offensive scheme, our run-pass option attack. You got to establish a running game. You need a healthy running back. You need a guy that can be dependable. And Jordan's another senior who has, I think, taken the necessary steps and really passion and really everything he's done this summer to focus on having the best senior season he can.
What kind of pace will we see the offense go this year?
I'm sorry?
What kind of pace do you think the offense will go at?
It'd be very similar to last year. We're kind of in and out. Again, you like to get in and out of, different tempos and go at a fast pace. It's kind of what's college football's turn to. Put pressure on defense, limit the calls, keep things vanilla for the defense. But you have to be able to execute, and you got to be able to stay on the field to get in and out of those. But again, the way we've been able to kind of go about things this fall camp, I think we're moving in the right direction to be able to be very balanced and keep people off balance in what we're doing.
At what point do you feel like you need to name a starting quarterback just so your offense will have that consistency, or will it be September 2nd when we know who that is?
I haven't put a deadline on that, and honestly, I can say that Andy Cole, Nick, our offensive coordinator, we have not even had that discussion yet. Maybe towards the end of this week a little bit more. Maybe the discussion will start, but I don't think, I've never been one that's waited to, we'll see who runs out the first snap. I don't think that's, but and especially in today's age, somebody will have it on social media who's taking the majority of the snaps somewhere. But we'll name it in time and kind of see the nice thing about Tyree Jackson and Grandma Rohach, we feel confident whoever that is after, especially our first scrimmage last week, we feel confident that whoever is under center is going to do a fine job.
Would you play both of them entering the regular season?
Yes. Yep. And that's been talked about.
If I recall, you guys had a lot of defensive touchdowns last year. Is that realistic to keep up a pace like that? And how do you guard against maybe not getting that many points from your defense this year?
Well, I hope so. I hope we can find a way. Brian Borland has done an excellent job coordinating the defenses since we've worked together, and this is our 10th year together. In my time with Brian, sometimes it just goes in bunches, and it did last year in a stretch where we'll be able to just get some things going. Hopefully we can create some of that again. But I think probably the other part of that question is we have to be able to be more explosive and more consistent offensively, running the football and generating big plays if we want to be the team we want to be.
How about, speaking of that, the need for being more explosive, who do you think are some guys offensively who can give you some of that? What do you think of just the speed level of your offense in total?
I think we're better than last year, and we'll continue to recruit to be even better. I think, who do you want big plays from? Well, of course, you want them from your running back. I think we saw flashes of that from Jordan Johnson. Do we feel Jonathan Hawkins has the ability? He has shown that in fall camp. Zach Nicholas has good speed. Emmanuel Reed has good speed. So we think as a depth at the running back core, there's speed and for the ability to create big plays. We hope to increase our quarterback run game. We think our tight end, Mason Schreck, has ability to stretch defenses, much like Matt Weiser did. I mentioned Malcolm Robinson and Kamati Hosley. I think those are some guys that have the ability, at least two guys right off the bat, that have the ability to stretch defenses and stretch them probably more consistently than we did last year.
Any freshmen particularly going to have a chance to get some decent playing time this year?
It's getting close. I don't want to go quite in it. I don't say anybody's really pushing hard. We've got a couple on defense that are getting close, and but want to get through another scrimmage before we decide. That's kind of a mix, is that you want to reward guys where there's competition, but I felt there were some spots last year that we probably wish we could have redshirted some guys. And again, we want to build this for the long term, not just for the immediacy of this season or next. And developing players and having fifth-year seniors on your team is very important. So we'll kind of take a look at it, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's some emerging into two deep as we approach, if not the September 2nd game, by the time we get to conference play.
Given the youth of the team, you could have whatever, you can take whatever opinion you want on this, good or bad, but having the bye early is one slight benefit. I'm sure you'd like to be later for injuries, but given the youth of the team, maybe does that give you a little more time?
Yes, very good question. That we've talked about it, and I was kind of like your statement there is when I first looked at it, I was and talked with Alan Green, and we looked at other options, and did we have any flexibility of moving or doing some different things, because it's not the greatest time, after just one game. But as we talk about some of the newcomers and things that we really get another week of development in after game one. So it's almost an extended camp for some of those guys. And if anybody's banged up in camp, we have a chance to game that week. But once you get past that open week, then of course it's a pretty long grind. And so there's mix there. But I think again, with those 12 newcomers that showed up, and some of those are going to be counted on, I think that it worked out for a reason, and we want that reason to be that extra time here early in September.
Coach, what really defines the league this year? Maybe what's the identity of a lot of the teams that you'll be facing?
Well, I think the consistency of Ohio and what Bowling Green have done. I think when you're talking our division has continued to be at the forefront of trying to compete and win a division championship to get yourself in the conference championship game is very important. You saw the steps that Akron made last year to get to a bowl game, winning a bowl game. Miami of Ohio and Kent, I thought, are two teams that continue to get better, and Kent very good on defense. So again, the balance within the East is there, and then really you look at in the West, the consistency of a Northern Illinois and the athleticism and really talent that Western Michigan has put together. But I really haven't seen them much, and it's so late in the year. That's part of, and again, we haven't played Ball State before. It's been a while from what I understand, so really didn't see them on film. We'll see them early in the year. We still haven't, Toledo's not on the schedule, but again, a very, been a top 25 team at certain times. So that West seems to be very competitive. We get a chance. We played Northern last year here. Got a slow start, but I really thought that second half that we finally gained some confidence that we can line up and have success against, the top teams in our conference. And that's something that we're going to have to show each and every week, and that'll be a challenge as well.
Anything else for Coach? All right, thank you. From here, we're going to go out to the team photo in the stands up here. So if you guys want to go out these doors and get a shot of that, and then after that, we'll do all of our interviews up on the concourse just because of the weather and impending possible rain. So the team photo will be in the stands. You can go out in the track. And if you want to walk up to the concourse level back where we're eating lunch, that's